That first 2 years is like the most difficult year for a new brand. I believe a lot in manifestation. I believe that what you manifest is what you get.
And so today we've got a guest who knows how to design clothes for women of all shapes, sizes and ages. I want to welcome Ivy Ekong. You know, the mind is a powerful thing. What happens if you don't have that red lipstick or you don't have that dress that you want to wear and you wake up in the morning and it's a bad day?
My business, there's so many times that I've said, what am I doing? I don't want to do that. I want to go and look for a job. So many times I've wanted to give up, because as a businessman, you know that sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You never know.
What advice does that little child give back to you right now?
It hasn't been an easy journey.
Today we have an awesome guest. I don't know much about fashion. I mean, I just work on anything that makes me feel comfortable. As long as I'm covered or as long as it just makes me feel good or it's relaxed, I'm good. But a lot of people say, Sean, you could definitely dress better. And so today we've got a guest who knows how to design clothes for women of all shapes, sizes and ages. I want to welcome Ivy Ekong.
Hello, Sean.
How are you? You all right?
Yes, I'm very well. Thank you. It's lovely to be here. I've got a beautiful studio too.
Thank you. It's lovely to have you. You look awesome today.
Thank you. I'm wearing my brand today.
Okay. What's the thought process behind, well, first of all, wearing this outfit today?
Well, I just wanted to look chic and have a little bit of a boss vibe. And yes, so there's a bit of a chicness going on, and with the crystal buttons, it just adds a touch of elegance and class, which is what my brand is about, really. So yeah, that's the thought
And the
process.
material, it looks like velvet.
Yes, it is a velvet.
Okay, is that back in fashion now, or has it always been there, or is there a specific time or day that you put velvet on? Does it represent anything?
Well, I wouldn't really say there's a season or time. This was actually an old collection of ours. It was from last year. And I always keep one of every sample of what comes in. So this is my sample, and I just thought I haven't actually worn this. So it's my first time wearing it today. So yeah, the weather is a bit gloomy and I thought it's good to wear something a bit velvety today.
It looks warm.
Yes, it does.
It looks warm, definitely. Well ventilated, but warm as well.
Yes.
And we can't see your shoes, but your shoes are like see-through plastic. And see-through like everything. Like, what's the thought process behind them?
They are called they are from Amina Moadi. It's a shoe brand, and I love a lot of their shoes because it's quite comfortable. So I do wear their shoes, but I am in the process of having my own shoe line as well. So that is currently in the works. So hopefully we design something that women will feel comfortable in, because I feel it gets to a certain age that we just want comfort. We want to wear shoes that are comfortable, that we can walk in, especially as a mom. I've got children that I have to run around and run after when we go out. So yes, I always want to pick something stylish and comfortable at the same time. So yeah.
Why is this industry so important to you? Like, you seem quite passionate about it, how women feel in these clothes, and you just spoke about motherhood. And is there something that sort of inspired this or ignited this?
Yeah, I have been in the fashion industry for a long time.
What's a long time?
A long time. Well, I would say professionally from about 15 years ago or so. But while I was like little, I was the girl in the house who does everybody's hair and makeup. Okay. So my sisters will come and I'll say, you're going out like that? No, come back, and I'll brush their hair, I'll do their makeup. And while I was in school as well, in high school, all the teachers knew me as someone who just, try to make everybody look their best. So yeah, and that's really where it started from. And I think I just finished school then, and a friend of mine said, Ivy, I have a farm, or someone told me there is this competition happening for a beauty, like a beauty pageant competition. And this was way back, in Nigeria. And I said, I don't think I'm interested in anything like that. She said, I'm sure you do very well. It's just natural. And I said, no, I'm not interested. And she went behind my back and submitted the form, completed everything.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and then they reached out to her, and then she called me and said, Ivy, you've gotten in. They said, I was like, got to what? She said, yes. Did you think I wasn't going to put up your name? I knew you were going to get in. And then she said, you need to go for audition and all that. I said, I don't want to do this. She said, you have to. So after much deliberation, I did. I mean, to cut the long story short, I won the pageant and became a beauty queen. And that gave me a whole lot of opportunities and platform back home to just do some of the things that I love doing, and which was working with other designers and getting to learn more about the industry, and also it opened me up to do a lot of charity work as well, because as a beauty queen, you have a pet project. And I remember when I was asked, what would be your pet project? And I said, then HIV/AIDS just started in Africa, and there was a lot of stigmatization. People thought if someone had HIV/AIDS and they sit next to you like this, you're going to catch it. And I thought, a lot of people were getting stoned to death. A lot of people it was horrible. So I said, well, I want my pet project to be raising awareness about HIV/AIDS so that people know we're able to raise awareness and sensitize people. So just so they know. And then a lot of people who had it were just dying in the hospital because their family left them. There was nobody to pay their hospital bills or care for them. Wow. And they were like, it was as if they had one disease that was so bad that you can't even go near them. So when I did my pet project, we did a lot of awareness campaign, and I'm so glad I had the backing of my governor then, and he provided us funds, and I worked with a lot of NGOs, and we raised awareness from every state to state. And then I would go into the hospitals, pay their bills, look after some of them with children who are so young, and because they are in the hospital, their children, there's no one to look after them because people don't want to go near their children. And yeah, so that was how everything sort of started.
What is HIV? I know it's some sort of sexually transmitted disease.
You don't know what HIV is?
I know it's some sort of virus.
Yes.
People can talk about cancers and this mutation of cells and different cells dividing and changing the code of the body, which, stops certain organs from working because the body's made a mistake somewhere, or, things like refined sugar, which is really causing a lot of disease in people. But what specifically is HIV? It's been a main agenda for something that you wanted to solve for, a lot of, Africans, where it's been spreading a lot. But what is actually that disease, and how can people be aware of it?
So a lot of people do say that, HIV is a sexually transmitted disease, but it's not just sexually transmitted disease. You can get it in other ways. You can go to a barber's shop, and being HIV free and leave the barber shop having HIV just because they haven't looked after their equipment and they haven't sanitized it properly. For we ladies that do our nails, you can go get your nails done and they use their cortical trimmer or whatever, and it's not sanitized properly. And so anybody can get infected with HIV if you're not careful.
So what you're basically saying is if someone's got HIV and they're having a haircut done and they get a little nick,
Yes,
and then you've got some little bit of blood on that,
On
that
yes,
little trimmer
yeah,
or something, and
yeah.
then you go and cut someone else's hair and you
without
nick them as
sanitizing
well.
that, yeah. So
Right.
you are there's a high chance that you're
Yeah.
going to pass it on.
That's amazing.
To someone else. So when
my
people
God.
say, "Oh, is it sexually transmitted?" Because we used to hear a lot of that. Then when I speak with the family of these people, sometimes the wife will say, "Oh, I'm sure he was unfaithful to me. That's why he's got HIV. So I don't want to have anything to do with him."
God, yeah.
Or the other way around.
wow.
So and then if it's their daughters, they will say, "Oh, I'm sure she's like wayward, or she does, she was
God.
going with different men." And you have to let them know that yes, it can be that, but it can also be this. It's not the person's fault that they have, because it can be you, it can be me, it can be anyone. So that was where the awareness thing sort of came from, and we were able to actually unite a family, a lot of families again, to sort of care and look after their loved ones. And I mean, I'm so happy, because then they didn't have any treatment for it. Now they do. So
Is there a cure for HIV?
There's no cure, but there are treatments that you can
manage it.
Yeah.
Okay. But what is HIV? What exactly is it?
It's okay. So do you want me to define? Well, I mean, we can Google it if you want.
Google it.
But we can go. Should we Google it?
Or
because I don't want to say anything that's derogatory. We can just check and.
So it's basically a disease that's not curable.
Yes, it's a disease
and
that's
it starts
not
attacking the
curable.
body, does it?
Yes, I think it attacks some parts of the body, and it attacks the liver, the lungs, and so those that have it and are managing it, they need to be put on a special diet and a particular lifestyle, just to make sure that they live a healthy life.
Absolutely.
And they don't transfer it. And there are so many people who are HIV positive that are married and they haven't transferred it to their partner or their children, and they have kids. So there is good amount of medical technology now.
Do you think that should be allowed, like where somebody's got a disease like HIV, and do you think they should be allowed to have kids where they could be having children that are born with the same condition? Or do you think they should step back and say, hey, hang on, I'd love to have children, but I don't want to, pass my disease or genetics on? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts, I think everyone deserves to, anyone who wants to have kids or have a family deserves to have that. And if there are ways to do it without, risking the life of the children, of course, why not? And there are so many ways to have kids these days, so that's another topic entirely. But there are so many ways to have kids that are biologically yours as well as. So, if you want to have kids, of course, go for it.
Advancement in technology is amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
How we grew up to what's happening now. The other day, I was in the Uber and the radio was playing, and it basically said that the first woman womb transplant was done. So a woman who previously couldn't have a baby, she can now have a baby. But
just imagine
by
how amazing that is.
That is, and she can give life now. That is something.
That's really amazing. That's amazing.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your fashion brand. Like, tell me, what does it sort of represent? What your thought process has been behind it? Why you want to do it?
Yeah. So I think the story still boils down to, what I was exposed to back home in Nigeria. And when I moved here, or previously before I came here, I was working, I got like an internship in a bank. And I remember, if my bank manager, if she's watching this now, she's probably just going to smile, because she said, Ivy, you do not belong here. You come to the office and you're like, oh, your hair is that way. Your dress is that way. Okay, let's take you into the toilet and try and fix your, And she said, this, you don't, you need to do something that it's you're called to do. And I think your calling is in the fashion industry. And I say, yes, I know that, but I'm someone who likes to learn. I never say no to learning, and I don't care what industry it is, as long as it will open up my knowledge. And I take any chance that I get. So when I came here, after I met my husband back home, got married, came here, from being able to fit into literally anything, because I was so slim. I was like a size zero, literally. And then getting pregnant with my first daughter, and having my daughter, my body changed. And I remember not being able to fit into my clothes and buying lots of clothes from different stores online. And it just wasn't doing anything for me. And I didn't have that confidence that I used to have. And a lot of mom will probably relate to this, because once you have the children, they are amazing. I wouldn't do anything without my kids, but they change your body. And I sat down one day and I was like, I've always wanted to design. I've always wanted to have my own clothing line, but I didn't have like a huge budget like all the big brands, and I didn't know where to start, to be honest with you. So I just started drawing. I just started sketching. Then I started doing research of manufacturers, China, Turkey, and all, everywhere. And this was while nursing a baby. I remember putting my baby here, breastfeeding her, and I'm on the computer on my kitchen table. I literally started my business on my kitchen table and grew my business on my kitchen table. And so when we created some designs, I said, okay, these designs are nice. So how do I go about this? And I did all the research. And for me, the key point was making or designing something that I can wear. And I wear my brand a lot. Everyone who knows me, knows that. And something that women of any size can wear, size, age. That was really, really important to me. And I said, if I can design something that a woman would just wear, especially a woman who just had a baby, or a woman who's had babies, kids, and they just don't feel confident enough. If I can design something that they would wear and feel confident in, then I've done my job. And my very first collection, we started with a few pieces of bandage dresses. That was how we started. Now we have lace, we have velvet, we have bandage, we have...
What's bandage?
Bandage. So bandage is like a thick, stretchy fabric. And there are different qualities of bandage fabric. So we use like the highest quality of... I can teach you that, Sean, for another 2-3 hours. So it holds you in. Do you know what Spanx is? No.
Sort of. So there's things that people put over their stomach to make them look slim all of a sudden. And then when they put their dress on top, they look like size 8 all of a sudden.
Exactly. Okay. So the fabric that we use, which was so important to me, and I wasted a lot of money starting out, because I wanted someone that can implement that Spanx feel into the bandage fabric. So it's not just a bandage, because I've tried other bandages. I've actually bought just to see what's out there. And this bandage, but it's light, it's flimsy. When you wear it, it doesn't hold in. And I wanted a factory that can do a bandage that feels like Spanx. So you don't even need to wear Spanx when you wear my bandage.
Two in one. So you're saving money as well.
Exactly. That saves you money. That's it, And it takes me back to a lady all the way in Australia. She ordered, just like any customer, she ordered a bandage dress, a red bandage dress. I still remember the dress. And, she sent me a message. She said, and some pictures. And I don't know this woman. She said, Ivy, I don't know what you've done here, but you've done something. I had a baby 3 months ago. and we were going to do the christening of the baby. And I bought a lot of stuff, nothing fitted. I didn't have any confidence in myself because that was my first baby. I kept crying. And I remember I just Googled, I went on Google and I typed christening dresses, and your website popped up. And I said, okay, I've never heard of this brand. And they are all the way in London. That means I have to, think of all the import tax and everything. But I went ahead anyway and I ordered your dress. And she said, do you know when I wore this dress, it took 3 inches off me. She sent me a before photo of her, and then she sent me an after photo after wearing the dress. She said, I literally cried. You can see my eyes are red in my photo. I literally cried putting this dress on. And my husband said, you have to look for the founder of this brand and send her an email. And she's been our customer ever since for probably 7 years now, all the way in Australia. So that just made me happy. And when I see reviews and stories like that, it makes it worth it,
Yeah. So, wow, that's amazing because somebody trying to find you, for something you've created,
Yeah.
that's really creative, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like, it's an art, and that's what an artist is.
Yes.
It's like, to somebody it means nothing, and to another person it may mean the world, and saying, wow, like,
Yeah.
For me, clothes are so important because I can go to Hugo Boss and it's a great brand, but it looks a bit too not fitted enough for me.
Yeah.
And then I can go to a cheap brand like Burton's or H&M or something like that. And when you go into them, sometimes they have a slim fit and it actually fits me perfect. And I'm like, I actually don't want that big brand.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. I feel like more scruffy.
Yes.
Whereas if this tucks me in a little bit nicer,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm able to go into a room and talk to other people,
Absolutely.
And that's the power,
That's the power of fashion, isn't it? And it's not just fashion. It has a lot to also do with your style, because you can have a lot of clothes and not really know how to put it together. So I think style and fashion works hand in hand, and it's always great to have both, because then you can turn even a towel. If I give you a towel and say that's a towel, style this towel, if you're stylish, then you should be able to turn that towel, which is just for cleaning the body after you shower, into a proper outfit. So that's how they all sort of come hand in hand. Yes. And I think that also sort of went a bit into creating my brand, because I went and trained as an image consultant and a stylist. So I did a lot of styling even prior to the point of creating my brand. So I knew how to work with colors, with swatches, with shapes, and, different things like that. And that sort of translated.
So originally you're from Nigeria, is
Yes,
that correct?
I am, yes.
And so you guys dress really good as well, like in terms of seeing the dresses that you have and the turbans as well. It's very colourful.
Weddings.
How much does that inspire you? Or even sometimes I see in the church.
Yes,
people going to
in
the
the
church
church.
and they're looking so beautiful. I'm like, really colourful, and it's I like different,
Yes,
it's like, why fit in?
Yes, when you can be different, and it's actually good you said that, because that's really inspiring. And I grew up seeing my mom wear that, and my mom loved colors, and she used to say, when you're feeling sad or when you wake up and you're not feeling yourself, just go into the room, put on a red lipstick, very red. She would say very red lipstick, and you immediately feel better to take on the day. And she used to wear a lot of those turbans, and and I do, when I'm creating, of course, my mind do go there. For sure, because she was very, very inspiring to me when it comes to fashion. Yeah.
You've just mentioned something, and wearing red lipstick, it was like, but overall when you step back, is you've made one little change that changes that sort of mental side of things. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You've made one little change, and you know, the mind is a powerful thing. What happens if you don't have that red lipstick or you don't have that dress that you want to wear, and you wake
Yes.
up in the morning and it's a bad day? What can you mentally do without physically doing something to change your day?
You mentally, tell yourself you have to. It's a new day. I mean, I believe a lot in manifestation, and I believe that what you manifest is what you get. So if you manifest positive energy, you get positive energy in your life. If you manifest negative energy, you attract negative energy. So that I have a strong belief in that, and it has worked. So what I do when I wake up, of course, I would say I tell people, I'm like, I don't remember the last time I slept for 4 straight hours. I don't, because I have a little one. I have a little baby who is almost 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's in the time of sleeping now, like all through the night. But you know how it is. It never ends. Even with the grown-up ones, they want to do homework, they want to do this. So when they go to bed, that's when I have time to then focus on my business most of the time. So at night, when people are sleeping, I'm on my computer, I'm responding to emails, I'm doing things like that. So in the morning, there are some days that it's hard to get up because I'm tired, but I have to get up because I need to start my day. And I know that if I don't get up, somebody will not be paid their salary. If I don't get up, things will not happen. So when I get up, I stand in front of the mirror where I brush my teeth, and I say my prayers first because I'm a Christian, and then I say all my manifestation. I tune in my mind for the day. I'm like, today I have energy. Sometimes there was a day my daughter walked into my room. She was like, Mommy, what are you talking about? Who are you talking to about energy? Because I kept saying, today I have energy. Today I have energy. Today I can do this. Today I can. And I was laughing. I said, I'm talking to myself. I'm just trying to tune my mind to give me that strength that I needed for the day. So I feel having that manifestation and talking to yourself, talking to the mirror, it goes a long way to sort of tune your brain into believing what you want it to believe, and then that sort of transcends through your day and through everything that you do. Yeah.
They do say that the brain doesn't know what's real and what isn't real.
Well,
Do
you
know what I
have to
mean?
make it know.
There you go. So tell yourself.
Yeah, you have to tell
it's true and
yourself.
you can do this.
Yeah,
and
you
you
can
keep
do that.
pushing.
You're amazing. You're beautiful. There's nothing no one says to you today that is negative that is going to affect you. And a lot of my friends, they would testify that there's really nothing. Like sometimes they'll say, Ivy, react. I say, react for what? Like, and they say, why can't you just, this is what a normal person would do. They'll be angry. I'm like, no, if I do that, then I'm giving it's too much of my energy to that thing. So I'd rather not do that. And because there's always a way, there's always an alternative way, isn't it, Sean? Always. Do you believe in that? Always an alternative way,
Look at life itself. It's amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
You could be in the Sahara desert, but you'll still see something growing.
Yeah.
Like a cactus or something.
Yes.
And you think, hey, hang on, this isn't the right conditions for
Yeah.
that to grow.
Yes.
And you'll still see something
Yeah.
like that yourself. And you think, how did that happen? Or, India just landed on the moon. People say, we're not going back there. What's the point? It's just an old rocky moon.
Yeah.
It gives us no value. But
Yes.
India's now done that. So we're on a flying rock in the universe. How did that happen? Anything's possible.
Anything
man.
is possible.
You've got to.
Anything
You've
is
got to
possible.
have. But belief is a massive thing.
Yeah, you've got to have belief. You've got to have belief in yourself. There will be challenges on the way. I mean, there will always be challenges. And my business, there's so many times that I've said, what am I doing? I don't want to do that. I want to go and look for a job, So many times I've wanted to give up, because as a businessman, you know that sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You never know. And
So
yeah.
how do you deal with that sort of thing? Is a sort of anxiety sometimes?
Anxiety,
And how do you deal with that?
Well, you just keep going. You take the failures as they come, and you work harder for the wins. There has been a lot of challenges when it comes to my business, especially as a Black woman. In the fashion, the fashion industry is huge.
Yes.
And it's not dominated by Black people. We are actually now just gradually getting our foot in and getting to actually stand and have our voice in this industry. So that comes with a lot of challenges being in this industry as a Black woman.
Why do you think that color matters?
I don't know. It's just, I think probably I really don't know, but I know it definitely is a thing. It definitely is a thing because I have experienced it. I've walked into a room. There are people that don't know that I am the founder of the brand. And I've gone into rooms where they are waiting for the founder of the brand. And I get there and they are asking me as if I'm the PA of the founder of the brand, waiting for the founder of the brand. Until I say, oh no, it's my company, I'm the founder and I'm here. And when you look at their faces, they're like, oh, really? Oh, wow, that's amazing. You see a bit of a shock, but they are receptive and they're like, oh, wow, I cannot believe you. You mean like you? I thought it was like one elderly woman who is in her 60s and have made money. And I'm like, no, it's me, small me. And yeah, so there are challenges, definitely. There still are.
So are you sort of saying there's some sort of prejudice or racism towards people of color in the fashion industry?
Well, everybody has their story, and I'm not going to generalize this. I'm speaking based on my own story and what I've experienced. And I do know that there are people who have experienced racism, of course, as Black people, as not just Black people, Indians, just, different diversity of people, Jamaicans. There are lots of people who have experienced a lot of, racial challenges.
And is there anything we can do to like mitigate that, or can people of like maybe similar communities of yours help bring us up? Do you get support from like other Africans, for example, who are from Africa and saying, hey, that's one of us, like let's grow this brand and let's put us on the map? Or do you see them going, no, let's not help another one, let me go over there? Because some people feel threatened because in my community sometimes, like for example, I'm a property influencer.
Yeah.
And I get loads of communities backing me up and saying, you're doing an amazing job. But then I'll have, my own people going, that's your dad's money.
Yeah.
You are buying up all the houses. You're an evil man. That's why we can't afford it, without thinking, actually, this is to do with fiat currency and what governments are doing and how much money they're printing. Like they just want to blame you or have a go at you to make themselves feel better. Do you feel that you are supported by your community, or you could be supported more?
Yeah. I definitely could be supported more. I am supported, not as much as I would like. And I think the reason for that, okay, I have been told a few times by my community that there was someone who actually, this was just last week, someone left a comment on my website, on my business website, under a dress. And there was the dress was modeled by a white model. And she said, oh, why is a white model modeling this when it should be modeled by a Black person? So I looked at the comment and I laughed because it's similar to what I have heard, just having my business. Because my business, when I was starting my business, I sat down with what's it called, like a brand developer, and I said I want to do this, and the person told me, okay, I think in order to do this, you need to get Black models. You need to sort of center your business around the Black community. And I said, no, that is not what I want to do. I want everybody to be able to wear my brand. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what shape you are. I don't care, I have never been the sort of person who lives my life just looking at color and, we got off from that meeting and I didn't work with her because she didn't understand my vision. And if you go on my website, I've got the white model, I've got Black models, I've got Indian models, I've got Chinese models, I've got different people on the website because we are all women. We wear clothes. It doesn't matter what color our skin is. We want to look good. We want to feel good for ourselves and for our family, So why should I create a brand just centered on Black people? I love my people and I carry everyone along, and I want a brand that is diverse. And that is what I have been able to create. So sometimes it's good and bad, like you said. You get the support and you still have people who says, oh, she's got white models in her, she sells for white people. So why should I go support her anyway? And then you have people who have like a broad-minded way of thinking and they're like, this is amazing. I've had people tell me, Ivy, what you have done for you to even be able to think of it is amazing. And I shop from you because of that. Because when I go on your website, I see all type of people. I see something on the Black person, and even though I'm white, I'm like, oh, I can wear that. Or I see something on the white person, and even though I'm Black, I'm like, oh, I can wear that. And yeah, that's just, I think the world would be a better place if we're a little bit more open and just a little bit more embracing of each other, whether Black, white, we are all human beings at the end of the day.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. You cater for the women of different ages and sizes. What about us men? Why have you left us out?
My husband would definitely love you for this because he's been saying, when are you going to have men's collection?
I wouldn't mind having a velvet,
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I wouldn't put a t-shirt on underneath. I would just
Yeah, I know. I haven't thought of designing for men at all. Probably it will happen later in the future.
Why is it difficult? The shape, the cutting.
I think, I think
is it to do with that?
It's a bit more. Yeah, I think with women it's more straightforward. Size small, extra small, medium large, extra large, extra large. It's a bit more. But for men, you have to think of the chest size. You have to think of F is a bit
Absolutely.
more. Yeah. So I haven't actually thought of that, and my current production team may not be able to do that. It may be another business on its own or outsourcing or something, but maybe later.
So how do you source the right manufacturer? Like, how did you know whether to go to Thailand or China or Italy? And, how do you balance it all with quality, but also with the budget that you had as well? Because there could be, hey, this is £2 a t-shirt, but this is £5 a t-shirt. But the quality is so much better at the £5, but hey, the market price is £6. So what can you turn over on that sort of quality? Or how do you think about price pointing something of better quality and for people to go, no, I'm going to buy that one. That one's cheaper, but not knowing that your quality may be better, but they might buy the cheaper quality 3-4 times rather than buying yours once.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? How did your research go into that?
Yeah. So we are an affordable luxury. I won't say luxury because there are things of £85 on my website, £40, 35. So I made it affordable luxury so that whatever budget you have, you can afford something and something that is of good quality. So like I said earlier, I had went through a lot of manufacturers, wasted so much money because I was new to the business. I didn't have anybody advising me on what to do. And yeah, so we made a lot of mistakes at the beginning. And go on.
So what would you do differently? So if you told your younger self or someone who's newly starting into this, how can they stop all of that, time wasting to look for manufacturers and where to go and how to do it?
Look for a coach. Look for, someone that's done it before.
Is there anyone you recommend?
Me, I do that too. So I have a blog where I coach people who want to start out in the fashion industry.
I might need to reach out to you.
Yeah, so you book an hour, 2 hour session and you get coached on everything. So I literally give you my little black book of knowledge because I've been there, I've made all the mistakes, and you don't have to make those mistakes. So yeah, just get someone who's done it before.
A lot of people don't believe in investing in themselves. They try and keep trying to reinvent the wheel again and again and again. But they're saying, why should I pay you money to give me a shortcut? Will you really give me a shortcut? Like, there's also bad people in the industry on the mentorship side where they've just done one little thing.
Yeah.
They've got a few little contacts and they pretend they can teach you a 20-year industry when they've only... For example, in the property industry, there'll be one person who done one renovation, sold it, flipped it, and now he's a property expert guru.
Yeah, there are.
And there's people like me who've done it for 20 years, and I look at them and I'm thinking, I would never do it like that. There's so many different levels to this, but you've got the marketing and advertisement, you've got the brand looking on point, but the actual product itself is shit.
Yeah.
So how do you expect someone to find a mentor that is really going to talk to them or really going to give them the real advice? What would you say when somebody's looking for that person?
I mean, it depends on what you're giving to the person. I would say, when I coach, I call it hold your hands. That's it. I hold your hands through what you're trying to do. So I don't come in and say, oh, you want to do oh, no, don't do that. Or I don't do that. I ask, what do you want to do? I go through it with you. I tell you, okay, this is what will happen if you go this way. This is what will happen if you go that way. And I let you make your decision, because sometimes what I've noticed is some people don't want to be giving a shortcut, and I don't even think there's a shortcut to life. I think you still have to experience what you have to experience yourself, so that when your business is doing well, you can look back and say, wow, I went through all this and it made me better. So there are some people who wants to go through that. So even when they come to you as a mentor, they are not listening to what you're saying, or some don't want to listen to what they are not coming to you to tell them what to do. They are just coming to you to hold their hands through what they want to do. So you need to know, what the person is looking for. And a lot of people that I've, worked with and mentored, that is what I noticed that they want. They just want somebody to hold my hands. Whenever I want to call, you're there. I can call you and ask you, oh, Ivy, I want to do this. What do you think? They just want your thoughts, and that's it. You offer your thoughts, and, whenever they ask for it, and you let them go through the process.
What is normally the main barrier a mentee has? So what's the barrier that they normally get stuck on?
I think it's trust. Do you think trust? I think it's hard for people to trust other people.
That's true. To take your advice
sometimes. Take your advice on sometimes too. And then secondly is, and it still boils down to trust, opening up to you, because some people think, oh, if I tell you about my business or what I want to do, because you're already doing it, it's easier for you to copy what I want to do. So there's a lot of, and then you find out that, a lot of people have that trust issue, and it's now depending on you to help them and just make them understand that you are with them and you're there for them, and it's not about, and sort of build that trust. And it does come, It does come. Yeah.
So how long have you had your fashion brand for now?
Oh, 7 years now, I think.
Seven
Yeah.
years. And are your profits increasing every year?
It was before COVID. We were doing extremely well before COVID,
Can
and
we
we're
talk
just,
about any numbers? Like what's the turnover
I
per
don't
year?
talk about numbers. No, I'm not just, yeah, I'm not, I would say at the moment we are still in post-COVID COVID recovery, because COVID lasted for 2 years, and we are a special occasion wear brand, and there was no party to go to. There was no dinners, there was no weddings, there was nothing. So it was during that time that I almost lost the business, and I had to make very serious
Such
decisions,
as?
such as letting some people go and taking over managing the business alone. So I let like the social media people go. I let a lot of the team, they had to go, because my accountant said, you're not going to have a business after COVID. It's either you do something now or you let go of the business. And I said, I'm not going to let go of my business. My business is like my baby. It's not just about the business for me. It's not just about the money. I think the money actually for me comes last. It's about the legacy that I'm building for my children, the legacy that I'm building for women who looks like me, just so they can know that it can be done. It is possible to be done. So during COVID, I had to make a lot of changes, and gradually we realized a lot of people were at home just wearing loungewears, sitting on their couch watching TV. So I had to introduce loungewears. We didn't used to do loungewears.
Right, okay.
So I introduced loungewears, t-shirts, just basic stuff you can wear in the house. And that sort of picked up and was, selling up to the extent of till COVID was over. And then, so we're just gradually.
So how did you go and find it? Was it from the same factory that they
Yes.
allowed you to have
Yes.
nightwear?
Yes.
And why
Yes.
is-
So
and can
I have we're a very small business. We may look very big online, or we are really, really small. So my factory in China is made up of a husband, wife, and their two grown-up daughters. So 4 people. So I know people that work for me.
Have you gone and met them?
I haven't gone and met them yet, but we talk all the time, video calls and everything.
Wow.
And when it's their birthdays, we send, they are like my little family somewhere else.
Wow.
They've been inviting me, but, I haven't had the time to go. So when you talk of, what is going on in the industry, like we talked of before we started, of brands using children and to make their clothes and paying them peanuts. I don't have that. I know where my clothes are being made. I know it's just this beautiful family, and and it gives me some sort of how do I put it now? I'm able to control the sort of quality of products that we have, because it's not like mass produced. Of course, there are a lot of copies. I've seen a lot of my copies, but
What do you think of people who are counterfeiting?
Well, it's just in the industry. There's really not much you can do. You can go file a lawsuit and it will be there for, years. And yeah, it's just, the thing is, you need to know your customers, and your customer needs to be confident in in your pieces. Because when they buy my pieces and they buy a counterfeit and put it, next to each other, there is a difference of quality, of fabric. So once you know that, okay, even though I'm paying $20 for that, instead of paying $85 for Ekong Fashion, I'm buying something that won't last. But if I pay £85, I can wear it for years and years and years to come, and I know it lasts and I know it's good quality. So that choice sort of now depends on them.
So what do you think of all these big brands like Burberry, Gucci, Prada, Ray-Ban, Versace? Do their quality actually does it match up to the price that, that they're delivering these items to?
It depends. People, I think a lot of people buy the brand, not necessarily the quality. When it comes to, those bigger brands, people just want to be seen wearing Versace, or wearing Gucci, or where it's like it's
Louis
a
Vuitton.
logo thing. Yes, exactly. And they don't care how much it costs as long as I'm wearing Gucci. And they don't care if it's made well or if it's not made well, as long as I'm wearing Gucci.
Does that give you confidence?
I don't know.
Some people say I'm wearing this and I'm more confident now.
Yes, I've heard people say
because
that.
people in the room will think I'm
Think
a certain status.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm a certain status, and yeah. So I think that just is a marketing state of mind in a way. Yeah, but I can only speak for my own brand because I know what goes into it, and I know the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it and into keeping it as a brand till today.
Well, people need to know how good your brand is because you have been nominated for awards,
yes,
as well. And at the same time, you've got, some celebrities who wear,
yes,
some of your brand as well. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we do. We do have celebrities, housewives, who loves our brands a lot. And yeah, we do.
How do you reach these celebrities?
Sometimes they reach us, most times they actually reach us.
So how do you get your brand out there?
So we do social media ads. We work with influencers. Mm-hmm. We do paid Google ads, and yeah. So, and then word of mouth most of the time. And that takes me back to when I started my brand, because when I started the brand, for the first 2 years, I'm sure as a business person, it's that first 2 years is like the most difficult year for a new brand. And if you can pass through that first 2 years successfully, then the brand is hopefully, going to have a long life, right? So the first 2 years, it was my followers that were actually shopping and buying and telling their friends. And sometimes, they say, oh, I just saw this on someone and I liked it, and can I order it, or how do I get it, or something. So I would say my friends and my followers took us through that first 2 years with very, very little budget. We started the brand with just 6 pieces on the website when we started, but now we have quite a few.
So where does the creativity side come from? Like, in terms of, how do you know what's happening in the market and the trends? How do you keep up with that, and knowing that, I don't know, that you're not producing flared when skinny's jeans is in, or when the big pants do come out? Like, how do you know you're in line with the trends? Like, where does that research come from?
So we do a lot of research. First of all, you have to know your customers and what they want. And my brand is not based really on trends. We are more into classic pieces. So if you want to look luxurious, classy at the same time, you think of us. So I don't really chase trends, like, oh yes, I can have 1 or 2 pieces in a collection that is trendy. But I've noticed that most times they are not even the ones that sell out. They are the pieces that are just made to suit someone's need rather than what is trendy. So those are the ones that actually do well, because, like, I know my customers, a lot of my customers are women and moms. Like 82% of my customers are moms. So, and that tells me that there's something they find in what I do or what we create that makes them keeps coming back. And that tells me that they find confidence when they are wearing those pieces, and they find comfort in it, and they find style in it. So when we are designing, it's more of what do these women want rather than what is trendy out there.
And how do more and more of these moms find you?
Well, online, online, everybody finds anyone these days
And
online.
how have you
And
found digital media, like in terms of Instagram and
Instagram.
Facebook, TikTok, all of these things? Is it a good thing? What's happening on there where people are spending so much time? Is it a good tool to have, or what's your thoughts on that whole
Yeah,
sector?
I think it's a good thing depending on what you're doing there. Some people are there to troll others, while some people are there to make money, while some people are there to build an audience and to create an audience. So it's I won't say social media is a bad thing. I would say, what you're doing on social media is what is important. So what are you using it for? As you know, I'm also an influencer, and I was an influencer before I started the brand. And like I said, the brand sort of streamed off from there because I had a following, not the amount of following I had now. When I think I had about 5,000, 10,000 followers when my brand started. From being an influencer and having a blog, because social media wasn't as it was now then. So it was more of a blog. So you go to www. Click on that to read an article. Whereas now everything is moving onto social media and you just read all the articles and everything there. So it's having those people who extended from that blog into my social media that sort of felt like they know me in a way. They sort of gave me that platform to have I'll say two businesses, one as an influencer and one as a designer, because I do make money from both businesses. So yeah.
Do you think it's fair, like a lot of people do look into these big brands, that they have these big factories, and although they say made in Italy,
Yeah.
they're Chinese factories with Chinese workers in that place, and they're producing these for £5-10, but you're not allowed to order it from these factories because it's 80% owned by the biggest businesses. So
Yes.
it's like a
They own
monopoly,
it.
but they're charging you 1,000% more.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Well, it's not fair, but people are paying the price for it. People are paying
Valid.
that 1,000% more. And, like I said, they don't care how it's made, where it's made, whether it's made for $1 and sold for £2,000.
There was a brand. What was the brand recently that sort of modeled kids, but it was quite...
Yes.
What was that?
No, it was am I allowed to say now? Can I say that? Was it not the one that was cancelled recently, right?
Well, all these celebrities were cutting
Yes,
it up.
cutting it
and
up
was such a...
and burning their stuff.
yeah,
Is it Balenciaga?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
it was
right.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Balenciaga,
Are they
like...
still cancelled now?
what-
Because I know they
what
cancelled
do-
them. Like,
See,
nobody
look,
buy
you
any
think
of
sometimes
their
in
stuff.
life you think you're so powerful, no one can take you on. You do a mistake like that and you
Yeah.
get cancelled.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's amazing as well, because it
yeah.
was such a big,
You need
powerful
to
thing.
hold brands accountable,
Yeah.
for things
Was
that
it
they
right
do.
what they did?
No, definitely not
Why
right.
did they feel that they could do that?
I don't know.
What gave them
if
that confidence?
Yeah.
Who was behind that?
Exactly. So they did come out to, I think they wrote like an apology or some
bet they did,
explanation
to try save
say
their...
that they didn't know what happened. But I don't think so, because you should know what is happening with your business. And
course.
before anything is released, you saw the ad was a big ad.
Yeah.
There is no way that it wouldn't have gone through at least 10 people till it gets to the release, time. So I always say children are off limit. With whatever you're doing, you cannot capitalize on children to make money. You cannot capitalize on children or try to sexualize children, because children are off limit of in anything, So
They're very vulnerable,
I wasn't
and
happy at all.
very easily led and vulnerable, and that shouldn't be advertised or targeted
At
in any way,
all.
shape or form
At all.
in that sort of
Yeah. At
sector.
all. And I'm really glad they were held accountable by the public, and I'm sure they didn't see that coming. They probably thought nobody will notice this, but yeah. And
Subliminal.
hopefully they've
Yes.
learned from that, hopefully.
The world's changing massively, Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the world's going more LGBT sort of crew. How are you embracing that, and how are you providing that through your fashion as well? So there might be a housewife, that you're appealing to, but she may not have always been, the
Yeah.
way she looks.
Yeah.
How do you account for that growing community, and is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, it is important that, whoever you are, to have that self-confidence. And I think my pieces resonates that a lot. And you may not necessarily have, I mean, we didn't all have self-confidence while growing up. There were times we doubt ourselves. Even now, as an adult, there are still times you're like, oh, today I don't look as great as I want to look, or I don't feel as great as I want to feel, but continuously just snapping out of it and saying, okay, I don't look as, okay, no, I don't want to hear that voice. Instead, I want to instill this voice in me. So if are in the LGBT community, and you find yourself in maybe an outfit that you're not used to, and instead of saying, oh, what is this, or trying to beat yourself up, always find that confidence, because it is there. There's confidence in you somewhere. You just need to be able to find it. So that's what we do. And that's what our pieces do as well. And even me personally, as well. Yeah.
And how do you find, in schools, how they're educating children on these topics and subjects as well?
Oh, John, that is a very, very, as a mother, yes, it is good to raise awareness and let the children know. I tell my children, because they do ask questions. Mommy, what is this? What does that mean? And it's, I think for me, the education starts at home. So that when they get to school, whatever it is they are told in school, it's just a cherry on top. They have already had the education from their mom and their dad. So I always teach them, have mutual respect for everybody. We are all the same. We are all one. We are all, if you cut me, I have red blood. I don't have green, black blood. Or a transgender blood or an LGBT blood. No, we are all one. We all bleed the same.
Wow.
And that's what I always tell them. So if you have a friend who is going through a transition, or you just, as long as the friend respects you and where you are, you need to respect them too and where they are. So what to look out for mostly is just mutual respect, and that's it. Once, I think that we make the world a bit more difficult than what it is by playing this, the color game. If we can just realize that we all truly just bleed the same, we experience similar things. We experience, the same things most of the time. And it will be a better world, and just embrace everyone, as we were made.
Nice. I want to ask you a little bit about animal cruelty. Because there's certain clothes that are made with animal fur or animal skin,
Yeah.
or like you got leather made from cow, and I don't know, is it that jacket make? Is it goose?
Yes, the
Yeah,
goose
and
ones.
they've
Yeah.
made with like a
Yeah.
wolf
Yes,
sort
wolf
of a
skin,
fur.
and yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, everyone has their own, things they like, and sometimes the things people like may not be what I like. Personally, for my brand, we do not use anything that is real. So we do furs, but we do fake furs. We do leathers, but we do fake leathers. And to be honest with you, our customers have actually compared both, and they've come to say there's a leather jacket on our website now. It's the black leather jacket. It's made with fox leather, like fake leather. It's soft. It's like butter, literally. And our customers have actually come back to say, I compared this to the leather, the real leather we have, and there's no difference. So it just depends on the brand, and brand trying to look above that and just trying to consider animals and consider the planet, because all these things we do sort of affect the planet in one way or the other. And I think we are paying a lot of the price for it now because of the changes and, all the stuff happening in the planet. Look at it's September, middle of September, and it's still warm and hot out there because of, there's a lot that is changing in the climate because of things like that. So personally, we do not have anything, or we do not produce anything that is used, that we use real, animals for. We don't know. I'm totally not into that. And I don't buy it either from other brands,
right?
Apart from my handbags, of course.
Like your handbags,
Yeah.
So fashion is often seen as a reflection of culture, and society, and how, I want to ask, how do you use your designs to convey your messages?
My messages.
Or make it a statement about important issues. How do you use that design process for that?
So the design process, how we use it to sort of convey a message, is really how it's received when it's designed. So if it's received well, then we know that our customers are happy and they are able to then convey those messages. So conveying the message doesn't just stop or start and end with the brand. It streams down to your customers as well, and their life, and the things that they are trying to achieve and the things that they are trying to convey. So when, they love those pieces and is doing what is meant to do for them, then it's easier for everyone to have a voice to convey whatever messages that we want to convey from there. So yeah.
So I wanna speak about another topic quickly. Sorry, I'm really rinsing this, but you wasn't born in the UK, right?
No.
Where did life start off? Because I want to find out a little bit more about your journey, because you seem so passionate about giving to other people, doing their makeup, doing their hair. You can't go out the house like that. And you've turned that passion and that givingness in a different way, where you've made a business out of it. But what made this woman?
What made me is my little humble beginning. So I was born in Nigeria, in a place called Uromi. That's where I was born, and we lived in Edo State. I don't know if you know much about Nigeria at all. Do you?
Not too much.
No, I know a lot of people know Lagos and Abuja. That's like the central, yeah. And so I was born into a humble family of 7.
Oh, wow.
7 children. Can you imagine my mom having 7 children? I've got 3 and I'm like, oh, how did she do it? So we were raised, there is a way. So if you're Nigerian, there is a way that Nigerian parents sort of raise their children. You have to be intelligent. You have to have A's in school. You have to be a certain way, and that's a known fact, with Nigerian parenting. But my parents were not your typical Nigerian parents. They were very different, and they raised us very differently. So they raised us with a lot of confidence, to have a lot of confidence, to have a lot of self-belief in ourselves. And my mom would always say, whatever it is that makes you happy, just do it. If you want to get married today, whoever it is that makes you happy, I will accept that person. Whereas there is like a tribalism going on in Nigeria, where you have to marry from your state, or you have to, but they were not that sort of parent. They always just guided us into what they felt that we were brought into this world to do. And I think that has sort of helped me a lot, and not just me, my siblings as well in life, especially as parents also. And I find that I'm taking a little bit of those parenting and instilling it on my children as well, and just helping them to live their life, just knowing that they have a life. My mom and dad will always say, yeah, we gave birth to you, but you are your own person. You have your own purpose in this life. So why should I come and say, oh, you have to be a doctor, or you have to be a lawyer, or you have to be this? No, you have your own purpose. Pursue that purpose. And when they saw that I loved things, fashion and beauty, they encouraged that, and they helped me to, they never put it off to say, oh no, you shouldn't be doing this. No, they made sure that I was encouraged, and my siblings too were encouraged in the things that they wanted to do.
What do you think made your parents different to other parents? Why were
I
they
don't
like
know.
that?
I don't know. I don't think probably their parents were like that. I don't know. I didn't get to meet, their parents, but I haven't actually asked that question. I don't know. Probably education,
What did your parents do?
So my mom, we had a tough life, growing up to a certain stage whereby uh, we had like a breakthrough, and my mom became a counselor. You know what a counselor is? Like somebody in the parliament, you have like a government, whatever, appointment. And my dad was a head teacher in a school. So that was what they did. So my dad did teaching most of his life, and my mom did a little bit of politics, and then went back to education just, before she died. So, yeah. So I didn't grow up in a silver or golden spoon.
Sorry, can I ask when your mom passed away?
My mom passed away 3 years ago. Yeah. August this year made it 3 years. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how does that feel when you lose the person who gave you birth?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel good at all. You feel like there's a part of you somewhere, because that's your mom and she carried you for 9 months. So there's always that connection to her. So I always, even while I'm here, I feel there's something, there's a part of me somewhere. And you start having that feeling the day she passes. I can't explain the feeling, but yeah, it's been very, very difficult, because my mom and I were very, very close, and I would call her. And sometimes when I'm having a hard day, or my business, I'm having a hard day in the business, she would say, come on, I didn't teach you to give up, don't give up, do this, do that, put that in place, or pray about it. And she would just give an encouraging word, and I'll just feel better. And then sometimes she'll make a joke. She'll say, go and wear a red lipstick today, and yeah, so yeah, I do miss her every single day. But even when our parents, or we lose a loved ones, I feel that they are always there. I'm sure you've heard someone say, oh, she's passed, but I feel she's still here. They still live on, because you're constantly referring to them in what you do. And sometimes without even thinking of it, I would just say, oh, my mom would have done it that way.
Yeah.
And my children know that. They'll always say, oh, mommy would say grandma would do it like this. So I feel she's always, with those things that she has instilled in me, I'm still using them as a reference, even when she's gone. So, yeah.
How do you deal with a loss?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. So my mom's death was not planned. You don't plan death, but some people do prepare for their death. With my dad, he was very old. He had Parkinson's disease. Yes.
Okay.
And my mom was his main carer, looking after him. You know how it's not easy, lifting him up, taking him to, it was,
course.
yeah. And that sort of affected my mom, and she developed high blood pressure from that, and then diabetes as well. So when my dad passed, we we said, okay, it's time for you to rest, so come here. She came here, she was with us, and then someone called her, a relative called her and said, your brother is very ill. You need to come back home to say your goodbye, because by the time you come back home, he may not be here anymore. Yeah. So she left. She left her things. Her things are still in my house till today. She left her suitcases, her stuff. She just picked a few things and she said, I'm going to see my brother. And she went home. She had an attack with her diabetes. She ate something she wasn't supposed to eat, so her sugar level, went up. And the last time I spoke with her, I remember calling her and she was sounding a bit down. And my mom never sounds down. She's like the life of the party. If she comes in here, you'll know someone is here. So I said, Mommy, what's wrong with you? Your voice is down. She said, well, I ate something I wasn't supposed to eat and I'm feeling dizzy. I'm not myself. So I said, okay, go to the hospital. She said, I'll go tomorrow. I said, no, go now. She said, don't worry, I'll just go lie down and I'll go tomorrow. So, okay. And then I said, okay, I'll call you in the morning, because it was late in the evening. That night was the night she went into coma. And that was the last conversation she and I had before she died. So she went into coma. Her brother, who she went to see, recovered and lived another 3 years before he died. And my mom went into coma. By the time they rushed her to the hospital, it was really too late, because she didn't come on time. She was sleeping and nobody knew what she was going through when you're sleeping, everyone is sleeping. So the people in the house, they didn't know what was happening until the lady that lives with her just said, let me go use the toilet. So she went early hours of the morning to go use the toilet. Said, let me check on her, because she did complain that she wasn't feeling well. Went to her room, and that was when she knew that something is happening. So they called an ambulance, tried to rush her to the hospital, and she was in coma for about 3 days or so, and came out of the coma for a few hours. Called all her children, including me, but I wasn't there, so I didn't pick up, just to say she's okay, she'll be fine, we shouldn't panic, and then went into coma again and wasn't able to come out of that coma. So, yeah.
Sometimes when people pass, and especially close to you, you sometimes feel responsible in some way, shape or form. There's a little bit of, sometimes you can have regret.
Why did I let her go? That was always my question, and it's still my question till now. Like, why did I let her go? I should have just said, don't worry, your brother will be fine. But you won't know, because I always feel if she was here, she would have still been alive if she hadn't gone. Because when she's with me, I monitor what she eats. I monitor, I make sure she's following her plan of what she should be eating. And so she eats clean and she's never ill here. If she goes for her checkups and all. So I always feel, why did I let her go? And when she died, I was pregnant before my son now. And I was 3 months pregnant, and I had a miscarriage just hearing that she's passed.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how it was so unexpected. She wasn't the sort of person who said, when I die. She was full of life, and she would always say, oh, I will come and I'll be with your children when they are, graduating, when, so she was continuously planning for the future. She never mentioned death or anything, to me or anyone else. So, and her doctor said she fought. That's what the doctor said. We've never seen any patient fighting for her life. This woman wanted to live. But yeah, it's tough every single day. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Are your parents still?
My parents are okay. Currently. My dad's quite strong, 62.
Oh, good.
But actually, I will share something. A few months ago, my mum had she's been diagnosed with a condition, and the doctors a few weeks ago did really scare me, and I had to tell the family, I had to tell brothers and sisters, and a lot of people. And then 2-3 days later, it hit me. Because I've had to deal with the doctors, mom, dad, dad's even a wreck. Then sisters, brothers, I have to tell them. Then mom's side of the family. And then you just go about your normal business and you go to your normal work and then you go to the gym. And all of a sudden that drive doesn't feel like the same drive anymore. You're driving and your whole world's turned upside down. You're like, she may not be here in 12 months. What the hell is going on?
And your mind
starts getting angry, or did I not spot something and stuff? And I mean, currently we're trying to manage the situation and we've had some good results.
That's good.
Because it took me 72 hours to do a load of research. Okay, this thing likes acidic environment. I'm going to change it to alkaline above 7 to 14. This is shilajit from the Himalayan mountains, 82 minerals, 92 minerals out of the 102. I'm getting that. Okay, iris sea moss that grows in the Atlantic. Let me get that shipped in. Okay,
that's so sweet.
Soursop that is 180 times stronger than chemo.
You have this sudden need to protect her.
That's it. It's
quickly.
Top of the priority list was her. Everything else got shafted to a side. And it's like boom, 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 boom. Right, I've done this. Even down to, I'm not gonna lie, CBD oil. And it's like, hey, this has healing benefits. It's a plant that's been pressed. You can get at that. This may start, and 5 weeks on, we've had a scan that apparently this was aggressive. We've had a scan and it's like, there's no change at all, which is a good result after 4 or 5 weeks of changing someone's body around for that thing inside that's not progressed at the level that they thought she might only have 12 months. We've changed something about it. So the feeling of regret is like no other. You don't want to say, wow, I just let this happen. What can I do? But we've also got to realize this isn't your fault.
It isn't my fault.
It's not your fault. You wasn't to know. You're just doing the best you can. You're just being a good daughter or a good son. You're just trying to do the best and say, look, the biggest thing is positivity. You got to stay positive in your mind. If you let your mind go, then you've lost it all. You've got two choices to wake up to. Or be sad or be happy. I know the sadness doesn't bring any joy.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't bring any opportunity.
And my mom wasn't a sad person. So I will always say, what would she do? She will always say, be happy. Be happy. There's no time for being sad in this world. Yes, you were disappointed today. It's fine. It's normal. It's part of life. Get up, And so when I think of that, it encourages me just to keep going. And I still go back to our text messages. And I read a lot of them. Oh, good morning, my angel. Good morning. Oh, my black beauty. That's what she will say. Oh, my black beauty. How are you today? Just sending you lots of love today. Have a lovely day. Call me in the evening. But like you said, that sometimes, that blame, like, should I have insisted she goes to the hospital that day properly? Maybe I didn't insist enough. Maybe I shouldn't have allowed her to go sleep. Maybe she shouldn't have gone back home. It crosses your mind every now and again, and you wonder, what could I have done differently? But like you've also rightly said, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Like, you can't prepare for that. You can't say, oh, this is the day I'm dying. So let everyone prepare. So it just happens. And probably that was the day, or that was how she was supposed to, to go. I just find consolation knowing that she's in a better place and she's with my dad, if there's anything like that.
Exactly.
An afterlife or something, I don't know, but I find consolation knowing that she's in a better place and she's with us still. So
So imagine you're sitting here, Ivy, and you step to the side and Ivy is still there. And if I take you a little bit of a trip down memory lane, and we go back to your very first house that you can remember, and you can see the front door exactly how it was. And you walk in and you can smell them aromas of your mom cooking, and you can hear your dad, him ordering everybody around. I want it like this. You can hear your 6 other siblings on top of yourself, and you go into your old room. So you know what that looks like. You know where the
Yes.
beds is and the furniture is, and you
Yeah.
walk in and you see this little child, and she's playing with her favorite toy. You know,
A Barbie.
her little Barbie, and then you get closer and closer, and you realize that little child is you, and you see so much happiness in that child, and I'm gonna do this with the world. I'm gonna do that,
Yes.
etc. And she looks back at you, and she's seen that that you've been through a hard time. You've lost people along the way that should have been there for you, and
Yeah.
a lot of people have let you down, and life can be unfair.
Yeah.
But you look back at this child and she's so happy, but she looks back at you and thinking, why have you put all of this pressure and so much, weight on your
Yeah.
shoulders, and you hug this child and you say that I would never sort of let you down. Like, this is real, true love. Like, what advice does that little child give back to you right now?
I think that little child will say, "You're doing amazing." Yeah. With I don't want to get teary, but yeah, that little child will say, "You're doing amazing."
You got this.
Yeah, because it hasn't been an easy journey. Can we pause?
We can pause. We
Can
can
you not
pause.
end this, please? You have a tissue? No, I don't have any. Just need to dab my makeup or something. Can you see if there's anything in my bag? Has anyone cried before on this chair?
A few people have, but that's good because people like to see real life.
Yeah.
That's real life. People like real life,
Yeah. It's
We can cut half of it out.
yeah, please. It's been a journey, and I think I have always belted on myself, and I've always had dreams and goals, and my parents would say that. They always say, "Ivy, you're so different. Where are you from?" My dad would say, "I don't know where is this child from? I don't know where this child is from," because I've always known what I wanted, and I have never stalled, and in achieving that. Have I achieved everything I've wanted? No, I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Some people will see me and say, "Oh, wow, she's so well achieved," but I personally, I don't feel I'm so well achieved. I don't think I've done half of the things that I was put on this earth to do. So, yeah. So I think my little self will look at me today and say, "You're doing amazing. Just keep going, and remember to be a little bit kind to yourself while on the journey, because it's a journey we're on. You're on a journey, I'm on a journey. We have different journeys. Sometimes it may be similar along the way, and sometimes it may be different. But at the end of the day, I try to find a balance in everything that I do, and I think what I did this year, because I worked so hard, I did what's it called, like a mood board, and I said, this is how I want my year to be. I mean, you can just plan, and and one of the things I put in there was to spend more time with my friends, because some of them did complain that, "Oh, Ivy, we don't see you a lot. You're always working. You're always busy." And I said, what do you have all this success for when you don't have close knit of friends, or when you can't even spend time with your friends? So I made an effort, a constant effort. Yes, I did used to make efforts before, but I think this year, at the beginning of this year, I made even more effort to spend more time with my friends and my family, and my extended families. And yes, and that's what I've done. So I know when to say, okay, work is done for today. I'm not taking any calls until, and this time I'm going to have lunch with a friend. I'm going to the spa with a friend. I'm going to, because it's so important to have that community of people who have similar visions to yours and who are grounded in the same way that you are grounded. So I don't know how to make a lot of friends, but I do have very close friends that keep me accountable, and I keep them. So we keep each other accountable. So they can tell me, Ivy, no, I don't like what you posted online today. Come on, go delete that. That's not you. And I don't get offended because they are holding me accountable. Why can't I have a friend who sees better? And the same thing I can do to them. So it's so important for me to nurture friendships, both old and new. Though it's harder making new friends as sort of advance a bit in life and you have more things that needs more of your time. So, but my close friends, which I've known from way back, and we are, they are like my support system. And same, hope they can say I am same to them too.
Well, you've been down here and you're here as well. Personally, I always say it's harder being up here than down there.
Yeah, it is.
People think it's easy. You can drive what you want, live where you want.
Yeah.
And you have all this amazing stuff around you, but the hate, the non-relatable, that, you're not relating to everybody. Everyone else is at 9 to 5 and paying their bills. And you might be a little bit more comfortable, but there's a lot of work that goes behind that as well. But other people are hating on you. They don't want to be friends with you. They're not free when you're free. So it's actually a really lonely journey sometimes.
It is a lonely journey. Yeah, it is sometimes. And sometimes they don't understand what you're doing. Like, I need to do that. Oh, okay. So it takes a lot of patience. And that's why it's so important to have people that have the same value system as you do, because it's easy, it's just easier. And also the same people who have the same friendship value system as you do. Friendship is different for a lot of people. And I got to learn this, along the way. Usually I would just have friends for the sake of having friends. And even when I am not being heard in the friendship, or I'm not being understood in the friendship, or it's just there's a difference, I just keep going. And sometimes you have some friendship where you're not treated well. It's not only a man and a woman, or in a sexual relationship, that you can have bad, how do you call it, companion. It can also happen in friendships as well. And sometimes you can have a friendship that will scar you because of what you've tolerated and what has happened in that friendship. So growing up, and I think I'm in a place right now in my life where I know exactly who I want to be in my life and exactly who I don't want to be in my life. So I have learned to love some people still, but from a distance, like, I'll give you all the support I can, and just surround myself with people that I feel we are on the same page when it comes to different things in our lives. And so, positive energy.
100. Ivy, if there's one message you want to give somebody today, somebody who's watching this podcast and saying, I want to hear something from Ivy and from her heart, what is that one message you're giving to people?
This is so tricky. Something from my heart, I would say, if you feel, I would say don't take space. Like, don't let the word, how do I put this? I think just to, I would say live life. Live your life to the fullest, whatever that means to you. If you want to start a business, go on and start that business. If you want to have kids and you're having challenges having kids, find other ways, whatever it is that you want to do in this life, go ahead and do it. Stop, because procrastination is our worst enemy, and people can procrastinate for years. Like something that they would just do today, they'll procrastinate the whole year. The next year, they'll continue procrastinating, but they want to do it. So why are you taking time procrastinating rather than take that time to put into that thing and to find ways and measures to achieve that thing? So whatever it is you want to do, just do it. It's not going to be all roses or bed of roses. It's going to be challenging, but you have to set your eyes on the goal. I think that's my little advice out there for anybody.
Amazing. Well, Ivy, it's been amazing having you on the show.
Same here.
Thank you for sharing so
Sean
much.
actually made me cry today.
If you look straight into your camera and just tell everybody how they can follow you and some of your websites where you have your products, etc.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay. So my Instagram is Ivy Ekong. I think all my social media channel, including YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Ivy Ekong Fashion. My website is ivyekongfashion.com. So I have two websites, ivyekong.com and ivyekongfashion.com. So if you want to shop our brand and shop anything from our website, go to ivyekongfashion.com and use code IEF10 for 10% off your purchase if you're watching this.
There we go, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that show. I know I really did. If you're interested in setting up your own clothing brand and you don't know how to go about it, always leverage other people. And if that's Ivy, and if she spoke to you today and you can relate to her, maybe she'll be, the perfect person to help you get started in your journey into entrepreneurship. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button, leave us a comment, and share this with a friend or family that it could help. But until then, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.